What's going on, everybody? This video is for people who measure their testosterone levels, and especially for people who medicate or are taking anabolic steroids for any reason, and they want to check their testosterone levels. Okay, so people that take anabolic steroids with or without testosterone, and they want to have an accurate measurement of their testosterone levels to know where they stand. So they go to the laboratory and they ask for a blood test, including a testosterone panel. Now, the laboratory does a blood test, and then the numbers come back, and your total testosterone is 1,000 nanograms per deciliter, right? And you think that this is an accurate result. Well, first of all, this is not an accurate result if you take anabolic steroids for any reason, right? So if you take something like decagerabulin, even something like the Dianabol, but nandrolone is one of the anabolic steroids that are very, very confused or mistaken by the blood tests, especially the immunoassay testosterone tests, as actual testosterone. So your testosterone, your real testosterone production, can be in the gutter. It can be very, very low, but you would go to the lab and get a testosterone test, and it would show that you have 1,000 nanograms per deciliter. Why is that? Because the immunoassay test for testosterone actually mistakes many types of steroids, but specifically something like nandrolone, for actual testosterone. So it's gonna read because the nandrolone molecule is very similar to that of testosterone. So it's gonna read it, it's gonna see it as if it is actual testosterone when it's not. So it's gonna show that your level is 1,000 nanograms per deciliter. Meanwhile, your total testosterone is 100. Your real is 100 nanograms per deciliter, because you have been suppressed by taking that anabolic steroid for any reason, for medication. Maybe you're a burn victim, maybe you're a bodybuilder, whatever, right? So how can you know, number one, that this is not a true result? And number two, how can you get an actual real measurement? If you go to the lab, most labs by default, they're gonna do for you a type of an immunoassay test, right? And those can be different types. The ELISA, the enzyme-linked immunoabsorbent assay, radioimmunoassay, the CLIA, chemiluminescent immunoassay, the ECLIA, the FIA, the MIA, the lateral flow immunoassay. The lab that I went to, they did the CLIA, and a lot of labs, they do the CLIA. That test is what's going to mistake many anabolic steroids as testosterone. Now, to really get an accurate prediction, you have to go for the liquid chromatography mass spectrometry test, which is the LC-MS. That's a very accurate, usually more expensive and more intensive, and requires, it's more difficult to perform because it's more accurate and it's more advanced. The LC-MS is the test that you want to go for if you want to measure your real accurate testosterone levels and not have the test mistake your actual testosterone in your body for mistake an anabolic steroid like decagerabulin, like nandrolone, for an actual testosterone or actual testosterone in your body, right? That test you have to specify to the labs, and even when you specify to the laboratory that this is the test that I want to get, many people would still give you some type of immunoassay test because they don't understand and they're not able to check it on the list that they have, on the checklist that you give them. So you give them a piece of paper, for example, a lab order, and you say, I want to get a total testosterone, free testosterone, let's say estradiol, E2, and I want to get dihydrotestosterone, and I want to do them the total and the dihydrotestosterone with the LC-MS method. And you specify that, and he would still give you the immunoassay, because let's say, for example, the lab girl that sits there at the lab, the only thing she sees is a testosterone test. So when she checks, when she copies from the lab order, the sheet that you give her from the doctor to the computer, she just checks total testosterone test. She doesn't know anything about the method. You know, because she's many times that's the way it works. They have to take your sheet that you give them, the sheet of paper, and then they have to go check these tests on a computer. Okay, so they don't check everything, and if there is a specific method for testing, they don't check it. So now You could be asking for LCMS and thinking it is, and you would get something completely different. You get the regular immunoassay, and your results would be completely wrong. That's the first way. The first way, or one of the first ways, is to get the liquid chromatography mass spectrometry. The second way, if you get the immunoassay and you want to find out if this is actually, right or wrong, and you're someone that's taken, let's say, for example, an anabolic steroid for any reason, or even, honestly, if you're taking here, in this case, if you're taking exogenous testosterone, because exogenous testosterone is going to suppress your LH and FSH, right? So your luteinizing hormone and your follicle-stimulating hormone. These usually will be suppressed along with the SHBG when you administer anabolic steroids, and the LH and FSH would be suppressed also when you take exogenous testosterone, TRT, right? The FSH is what is basically responsible for sperm production. Your luteinizing hormone is what is responsible or indicative of your ability to do endogenous testosterone production. So LH, meaning your body is producing testosterone or not, it gives you a range. FSH basically means whether your body is producing sperms or not. So it's one of the tests that you get when you if you're trying to have kids with your wife or girl or whatever, and maybe you're not having luck, you would get your FSH tested and you see. So another one is the SHBG, right? So if you go and you get a testosterone panel, complete testosterone panel, right, with hormones, and you get also, including in that, you will get the SHBG, and you also ask for your FSH and LH. If your testosterone is so high, but then your SHBG is low, okay, really low, then lower than especially lower than the lower end of the normal range, that means that something is wrong. That's a red flag that maybe this testosterone test is not accurate. That's not your real testosterone production. If your SHBG is too low, but your total testosterone measurement on the lab is high, that's a red flag that something is wrong. The second thing is your LH and FSH. If let's say your total testosterone is 1,000 nanograms per deciliter, but your FSH is 0.78, lower than the lower end of the normal range, and your LH is so low, such that it's a red flag on the laboratory result. That means that something is wrong with your total testosterone test. That means it probably was done by the immunoassay, because there's no way you can have that such high testosterone when your body's actual ability to produce testosterone and sperms are that low. How can this happen? That means that something is wrong with the measurement. What was measured is not your actual testosterone, because your body is not able to produce that much testosterone at this time, because your LH and FSH are so low, and your SHBG are also so low. One thing that is extra to look at is also the estradiol, right? So the E2, your E2 levels. Testosterone, your body produces testosterone that converts to estrogen. If your normal natural testosterone is very low, or even if you're taking testosterone shots, if your testosterone in your body is very low, your estradiol E2 is going to be very low, lower even in very low, like in a critically low range, right? Because testosterone converts to DHT, and in estrogen, E2 is the most potent form of estrogen. So if you have a good amount of testosterone, you're going to have a good amount of estrogen in relation, and a good amount of DHT, unless you're taking 5-alpha reductase inhibitors or something like that. So these are basically the red flags that you should look at if you get a regular testosterone test and you're like, these results could be inaccurate. That's a mistake. Why is my total testosterone very high? And why is your total and free testosterone so high? Meanwhile, your SHBG, your LH, and FSH are so low. That's a red flag right there, that this test is inaccurate and is wrong. It's not really measuring your actual body's ability to produce testosterone. It is mistaken something else for testosterone, right? Now, something else that I want to add, that I want to talk about, if you're taking exogenous testosterone, so people that are on TRT, or they're, people are taking excessive amounts of testosterone, they're taking so much, they're, taking, let's say, 400 milligrams of testosterone a week, that's going to put their levels so high, let's say, 1,500 nanograms per deciliter per month. At this point, they're doing very high, or they're doing TRT, right? What taking testosterone injections is going to also do It's something that you can look at the lab work, at the blood, at your blood tests. The same thing, LH and FSH, your luteinizing hormone and your follicle stimulating hormone. If your LH and FSH, if you're taking testosterone, probably your LH and FSH are going to be so low, okay? And that's also something that you can understand, and gauge your body's ability to produce actual testosterone. So just to recap, it's basically two things. To get an accurate measurement of total testosterone and your dihydrotestosterone and free testosterone. Free testosterone is going to be done by by dialysis, right? But the total testosterone and the dihydrotestosterone will be done by mass spectrometry, LCMS. That's the method you opt for if you want to know the real molecule of testosterone, the real testosterone that's in your body, not the test that have the test mistake something else for testosterone. Number two, if you get a test, compare and you have all the results, compare your total and free testosterone numbers with your LH, FSH, and SHBG. If your testosterone is so high, but your SHBG, LH, and FSH are so low, something is wrong. What's in your body is not your natural endogenous testosterone production. Your body's not able to produce because all these things are low, yet your testosterone is high. So these are basically three things to look out for when you get your blood tests. Like I said, a lot of people don't know. A lot of people go and let's say the person that works at the lab makes a mistake, makes a difference. The lab makes a mistake. They don't get you the LCMS. They get you the immunoassay, one of its types. The results are wrong. You have to be careful with this stuff. So make sure to check out the link in the description for for the blog that describes all these issues in details. So basically you can avoid some of the mistakes that people do and that I have done myself before understanding and researching all these topics. Stay healthy and always achieve the perfect version of yourself. I'll see you in the next video.